What's up, guys? So, dark clouds have been going over the US Senate lately with the takeover of the Democrats, their terrible wins in Georgia, which were sort of a disappointment in itself, above, of course, the loss in the presidential race. But hey, it's time to look to 2022. People are already talking about it, and so will I. So, today I'm going to talk about how the Republicans are going to take back the Senate in 2022. Now, they do have a path. They used to defend a lot of seats in this Senate class 3, but right now they do no longer defend Arizona. They do no longer defend Georgia. They are on the offense in those states. So I'm going to go through each of the competitive states and tell you about the best candidates and how the Republicans are going to pull it off. Of course, on the West Coast, you have a Democratic stronghold from Washington and Oregon to California. You also have Hawaii, which is very Democratic and it's not going to flip. New York, Vermont, Connecticut, and Maryland are all very Democratic states. Now, very Republican states include Idaho, Utah, Alaska, North Dakota, South Dakota, Kansas, Oklahoma. I include Alaska, even though I hope that Lisa Murkowski is primarily led by a more conservative Republican, because it is a conservative Republican state, but it's still going to be safe red. Going to Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri. Iowa is, of course, safe if Chuck Grassley runs, and it's going to be edge for the Republicans there no matter what. Rand Paul in Kentucky is safe. Todd Young in Indiana, safe. Richard Shelby is retiring. Still Alabama is safe. Florida, I'm going to leave it for now, but Republicans definitely have the edge there. Tim Scott, safe. And now let's go on to the likely states, because Democrats are likely going to win in Colorado and Illinois. I do not have Illinois as safe because Republicans actually won that seat last in 2010 with Mark Kirk. I don't think that it will happen now, but just because it is within the realm of possibility and there is so long until the election, I'm going to keep it as a likely Democratic seat. Now we're getting more and more to the remaining states and who are the best candidates there. So I am going to start in the state of Georgia. Right now, one of those seats are going to be blue until 2026, but there are two big candidates that are either running or could and should run against Raphael Warnock. First of them, you have David Perdue. And he has already actually declared that he is going to be a candidate. He has formed a committee, he's filed the paperwork, and of course, other candidates that are discussed. You have Kelly Loeffler, Vernon Jones, and Doug Collins. Doug Collins, I believe, would be a slightly better choice than David Perdue. He is someone who can really bring out the rural vote even more. And both David Perdue and Collins are better choices than Loeffler. Loeffler lost because she was too much establishment, just not a good debater, not a good politician, more of a businesswoman. So if Republicans put someone else like Doug Collins or David Perdue in a red wave year, I think that it's going to be a very, very possible flip. And having said that, I think that the Republicans are actually favored by an edge in 2022 because there is not going to be Trump who brings out a lot of Democratic votes. Yes, it's not going to bring out that many Republicans either, we will see. Next one is North Carolina. North Carolina, I do believe that the best candidate for the Republicans in North Carolina now that Richard Burr is retiring. Let's take a look at that. You have, of course, Mark Walker. He is running. He is the former representative. His district was sort of a gerrymander, so when the court mandated the redistricting, he lost his seat to the Democrats. But the real interesting one here is definitely Lara Trump. She would be a great senator for the state of North Carolina. I think she would have a very good shot at winning if she won the primary, but I just don't know if she will win the primary versus this Mark Walker guy. Of course, there is also former Governor Pat McCrory. Don't know much about him. Lara Trump would be great. Mark Walker would probably also be great. I don't know that much about him. North Carolina, also a small edge to the Republicans. Going to Florida, Marco Rubio should be able to win that quite easily, likely Republican. Ohio has proved to be quite a Republican state, and Rob Portman is retiring. I'm still going to put it as a likely Republican because it has gone Republican by 8 points twice now. And there are very many different candidates that could run. Jim Jordan could run. There are many candidates. Actually, don't know that many Republicans from Ohio that I would recommend. Heading over to Iowa, I believe that they need to bring in a young face in Iowa to win that state. Of course, you could use Randy Fenstra, who just won the former Steve King district. I'm not sure, but I'm going to put it as likely Republican because Chuck Grassley might not retire, and we have no idea who would otherwise run. Ron Johnson earlier said that he was going to retire. Right now it is more open, since he is currently running and not retiring at the moment. I think that it's going to be a lean Republican seat. Now, going to Nevada, this is one I have been thinking a lot about. And Nevada was won by Biden by like 2.4 points. And the thing is, Nevada does have a small edge for the Democrats, but in the red wave year, Republicans do have a shot. They did fail in 2010 when they did run against Harry Reid, but Catherine Cortez Masto is not Harry Reid. She can be defeated, and the person I think would be best to defeat her is definitely Adam Laxalt, the former Attorney General, son of former New Mexico Senator Pete Dominici, also a Republican. And he is young, he is charismatic, he would do a great job as a senator. They also talk about other candidates like former Lieutenant Governor Mark Hutchinson, I don't know much about him, and of course the US Representative Mark Amadei, who has campaigned for and with Trump. You have also Brian Sandoval, who is the former governor, who I think would actually win most easily. So if you only want to flip the seat, he is your guy probably, but also just like he is from Reno, he probably is sort of a Reno, so the big Trump people would not really want Sandoval to be their candidate, but he has the best chance to flip the seat. So, going to the next state, I still think that Democrats have a small edge in Nevada. There are 3 left now, and that, of course, takes us to Arizona. Mark Kelly. I don't know who should run against Mark Kelly. Maybe David Schweikert could have that, I guess you can call it the Maricopa County appeal. So, among the big candidates now, there are not really any famous people. Of course, you have Governor Doug Ducey, but he has declined, so that leaves it quite open. And the Democrats do have a quite strong candidate sitting in that seat, so Democrats are going to be a bit favored right now. Now, going to the state of New Hampshire, it is definitely a possible flip for the Republicans. Can I click there? Yes, I can. One-term Senator Maggie Hassan has declared her intentions to run again because she is the career politician. Of course, she is going to do that. Now, big Republican candidates publicly expressed interest: former Senator Kelly Ayotte and Chris Sununu, the current governor. Any of them would probably be very able to defeat Maggie Hassan. Kelly Ayotte did not endorse Trump in 2016, but of course she ended up losing, and Trump lost the state, so I don't think it would be smart of her to do so. But Kelly Ayotte is a strong candidate, as is the glorious Chris Sununu. I think that Republicans can and will pick up that seat. Now going to the last one, which is Pennsylvania. And this is what many call the ground zero for Republicans. It's make or break. They have to carry Pennsylvania. And it all depends on the candidates. Because the Democrats have John Fetterman, who is the lieutenant governor, who looks like a quarterback in the... yeah, he's not your typical politician, but he does have blue dog appeal. He does have Western Pennsylvania appeal. Connor Lamb, who is a bit more good looking, also has Western Pennsylvania appeal and probably a bit more suburban appeal. And I don't know who would be the best candidates from the Democratic side, but I'm going to talk about the Republican side, wherever they are. Yeah, so Sean Gale, attorney. I have no idea who he is. I hope that someone else put in their name. I want to talk about Kenneth Brathwaite. I did not know that he was from Pennsylvania, but he was the ambassador to my home country of Norway, and of course Secretary of the Navy under President Trump. I think he would be a great candidate. I think he would be able to win without too much trouble. So I would say that he's great. I'm not going to endorse him right now because there might be other good candidates here. You have, who do you have? I heard a lot talk about Ryan Costello, who is your typical Philly suburb Republican. Not a lot of Republicans are able to win in the Philly suburbs. Right now, the only one is Brian Fitzpatrick. Ryan Costello is a former House member in the Philly suburbs, and he would not be that strong in the western parts of the state because of his somewhat neocon voting record. But he would be very good in the Philly suburbs. And the question is if that isn't enough to win the state. There is also the other type of candidate who would be very good in the western parts of the state. Yeah, Don Jr. here. I don't think that's going to be a option. So you have a bunch of representatives. You have Mike Kelly, who I believe represents a big district in the western parts of the state, including Erie. He could run, but is he going to be a very good candidate? Lou Barletta, who ran in 2018, he has declined. And seeing that right now these are the potential candidates, I would say that Kenneth Brathwaite would probably be the best one, though he might not be that famous, he might not have the name recognition. Also, Ryan Costello wouldn't be that bad, but many in the Trump base would not be very happy about him. But since it's a red wave here, I say that that one is going to be a lean Republican seat. Anyway, that's all I had for you guys today. Please like this video, please subscribe. I'm going to be better, I'm going to make more videos, so stay tuned. I'm going to see you next time.